Welcome, sentient beings from all known universes and beyond. It's time to activate your cranial downlinks and prepare to receive a raft of discussion on a cosmic ocean of science fiction and fantasy topics, interviews with local area genre devotees, and insightful prognostication by our soothsayers of science fiction, our forecasters of fantasy, and any other beings that happen to get caught in our gravity well. This is the Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
Hey. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. I'm Bill.
I'm John.
This is Charles.
This is Audie.
And I'm Seth.
Seth is our guest today. Thank you for being on our podcast, Seth.
Thank you.
Seth is an avid sci-fi fan and a gamer.
Sci-fi, fantasy, gamer.
You name it.
I have a broad range of interests.
No, that's good. So do we.
Yes.
So do we. Shall we get started?
We shall. I think we already did.
What would you like to talk about first?
I think we need to pick up on something that we left hanging in episode 3, and that was Mace Windu.
Mace Windu. When approached by Red Carpet News about revisiting Mace Windu after his run
Demise
ended at the end of episode 3, he said,
this is not Mace Windu talking, but this is Samuel L. Jackson.
Because Mace Windu is a fictional character.
Sure.
But yes, yes, it is Samuel L. Jackson. Thank you very much. I should cover these things.
Right.
Samuel L. Jackson played Mace Windu in episode 3. In fact, through the entire prequel series.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I think everyone's got that. It's like
never assume.
Never assume. Never assume. But when approached about revisiting that role by the Red Carpet TV people, he said, "I'll cash that check," which seems to me to mean that he's probably interested in reprising that role. And if Star Wars fans will remember, Mace Windu was hurled from a very high suite on Coruscant by the Emperor, but we never saw a body.
Right.
And Jedi are wily and slippery. So
well, and this is the opportunity for the perfect scene where somebody goes, one of the bad guys, so which lightsaber's yours? And he goes, it's the one that says bad motherfucker.
Right.
The purple one. I didn't know that was the BMF's lightsaber, but sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That would belong to Mace then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Or Samuel.
I wonder if it was hard for Samuel Jackson not to cuss during the prequel, because he seems to...
He likes roles where there's cussing.
Right, but if you memorize your lines, if you're a good actor, you act.
And he may have, they just edited out.
You act like a non-cussing person if you're a good actor.
Well, does cussing exist in that universe?
Oh, it definitely does.
Oh, it does, yeah.
If you have sentient species, you have sentient species who have various words to say when they're
Irritated, hurt, angry.
Samuel L. Jackson.
It probably is not a Jedi. I mean, Han Solo, I can see cussing all over the place.
Yeah.
But he doesn't.
Well,
I mean, it's a kid's movie.
Mace Windu is kind of a special case, though. I think he's what's called a gray Jedi. And he is a special kind who blends the light and the dark side.
And that would, to me, be a fascinating story to tell. I would like to hear about that. I'd like to see it, because he approached Lucasfilm in 2017 about reprising the role. He said, say the word, I will be there for a standalone series or to insert me into any of the new Star Wars that are coming out. And I would, if I've heard of Grey Jedi, I would like to get more info on Grey Jedi. I'd like to see it acted out in front of me. Tell me what it is. I have a funny feeling that Luke has turned into a Grey Jedi. Well, before he died, spoiler alert.
Well, here's the thing. Would a Grey Jedi be anything like a Grey Wizard?
Maybe.
Gandalf the Grey, and then maybe you've got
Well, what's
white
the
Jedi.
What's the difference between Gandalf?
Gandalf the White.
Well, what's the difference?
Sounds like
Between a
swearing's
wizard and a
gateway.
Jedi.
No, between a white wizard and a gray wizard.
Less swearing.
I
More
always,
power.
How so?
Well, you'd have to watch the series.
I
Well,
assumed it was
tell
a
us.
rank thing.
It's what?
It was a rank.
Yeah, but I think you've attained a higher rank because you can do more
More purity.
complicated spells. Not purity, because
Yeah, Saruman.
Saruman was
Oh, he was, yeah.
he was white and he was horrible.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I just always assumed that Gandalf leveled up after he beat the Balrog.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, is that why he came back?
Yeah, he beat
Or
the
maybe he
Balrog.
never died. We just saw him fall.
He came
and
back as a white Gandalf the White.
All right.
So
Well,
he fell out the window.
I think he did die,
Essentially.
but he got sent back, is what it was.
yeah. So, Mark Hamill will be in episode 9 as a Force Ghost.
I don't know what else.
As a Gandalf being sent back. I don't know. Luke the White is coming. Yeah, we'll see.
Right.
That'll be an interesting thing. But Samuel L. Jackson's all set to be Mace Windu, to pull out the purple lightsaber and start doing his thing again. So
Yeah.
I'm
Right,
I'm-
again.
in. Yeah, I'm in for that.
I think Jedi should have a staff, like a wizard.
Well, they are space wizards, but
Essentially, yeah.
They are. As well, some wizards have wands, some have staves.
some have
Yoda walked with
lightsabers.
Yeah.
a cane.
I mean,
did.
Gandalf
Yeah.
had a sword. So yeah.
Right.
So I mean, it's a space
He was kind of like a
sword.
warrior wizard.
Yeah,
Well, and the Jedi's have swords, essentially.
Yeah.
Laser swords.
yeah, they do.
They don't usually wear hats, though.
No,
Which is a
Yeah.
shame.
That
They've
is
got
a
the
shame.
hoods.
They
Yeah.
got their hoods.
Oh,
They
yeah.
do have
Yeah.
hoods.
Yeah.
Hoods and robes.
Yeah.
hoods and but no force chapeaus, shall we say?
No.
Yeah.
Right. Huh.
So yeah, I all right.
Yeah.
So
we got that done.
We got that done. Shall we move on?
Yeah, but before we do, I just want to let all of our listeners know, because I'm sure you're already thinking it in the back of your mind. And yes, it's true. Today is Blue Shirt Day on the Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
I didn't get the memo.
Audie missed the memo. Again.
This
No.
kind of squinting in the right light. It could be an off blue.
And I'm prettier that way.
Well, it's
Squinting.
fine, yeah. It's all
Okay.
good.
So anyway, yes. So that I got that out of the way. And so next we were talking about, was it Terminator?
Yes. Yes, we're going to talk about Terminator and Arnold Schwarzenegger reprising his role as the T-800 Terminator unit. Which,
A much older T2 Terminator unit.
and that's just it. I mean, how does a robot age?
Well, I think Charles had a great
Charles an
insight
aging
into
robot?
that, in that the T2 is coated with a biologic shell.
That was him.
Yes.
I was
Oh, was that
wondering.
you?
That was
I was
me.
wondering
Sorry,
when we were
Audie.
going to see the scene where the Terminator exfoliates.
Well,
Does his morning routine.
Well, no, actually, if you think about the very first Terminator, you see them exfoliate. But when they exfoliate, they cut off the entire sections of their hands. It's like, and it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
peel it. That is, and technically, that's exfoliating because
Yeah.
they did remove all the dead skin cells along with the living ones.
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah,
It
if you
takes
want to know
months to
how a
grow.
robot ages, he'd be decades out of software update
Well, that's true.
range by now, so he'd be
Right,
slowing down quite a bit.
Right. But it's not as if anybody in his immediate surroundings would be able to know enough to write code to hack him. So, I mean,
Yeah.
he's probably pretty good as it is.
yeah.
Well, it could be out of order too, because there's a lot of time travel stuff with the Terminator.
True.
So it could be that the original model starts as an older man, a retired actor or a retired politician, and then as the technology got better, they just made him look younger. The newer models.
Oh yeah, they
be backwards.
CGI'd the heck out of him in Terminator Salvation when they used him as a Terminator.
Or he could look older because when he does the Mercury Man, I don't remember what the other Terminator.
T-1000.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Then
yes.
maybe he looks older as that unit.
Well, but I mean, we got to remember also Linda Hamilton's coming back for this one.
Oh, really? I
From
didn't know that.
Yeah, she is. And I don't know how. And because, I mean, in Terminator 3, they pulled out her coffin.
Right.
So perhaps.
Yeah.
Well, that was just loaded with
guns.
ammo.
With guns.
Her,
So did she ever
was supposed
die?
to have been.
Yes.
Well, she is supposed to have been
'Cause just like
cremated and
Mace
scattered.
Windu, just like that. No one saw the body.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they can come back.
Well, John Connor was pretty sure that she had died in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or was he faking?
Well, he was told by the Terminator robot, yeah. Her, she was cremated, her ashes were spread over the South Pacific or something.
Well, you'd figure
somewhere.
he'd know if she was dead. Unless she was just like, I'm hiding myself for some arcane reason.
In the third movie, he said he thought his mother was crazy and stayed away from her while he, basically sold drugs.
Why would he think she was crazy, though?
Well,
Well,
she
Well, they
spent a
had
lot
her
of
locked
time-
up in an institution,
They
for
did.
one thing.
And, but he's
Yeah,
right,
but
though. But are you crazy if you're right? Because
Yeah,
she was
and-
actually correct.
But you presume crazy until you know.
Well, 3 was set after 2, right?
Yeah.
So
And-
he went through this whole thing when he was a kid.
Yeah. And he thought his mom was crazy in 2, but then they all went to the asylum, and the Terminator tried to kill or saved everyone from the other Terminator. So he should know, John Connor should know, she's right.
Yeah.
Well, he
So-
recognizes Arnie in the 3rd one, so he definitely knows that there are Terminators.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, his mother should have been vindicated in John Connor's eyes by the fact that Terminators tried to destroy them all. So,
Right.
that's good proof. Yeah, no. If someone says killer robots are out to get me, yeah, let's go talk about this in some place with a lot of padding. But
Right. But if the robots actually show up,
if they
Yeah.
show up, it's like, okay, then.
it's a whole
I think-
different ball game.
I think we'll take that at face value.
Right.
It's like time to get to the chopper. Yes. Yes.
All right. Next, we have Marvel movies no longer being released on Netflix, starting with Captain Marvel.
It's not a tumor.
And this is kind of what we were afraid of when we saw
Yeah.
the Disney-Fox merger,
Well,
is that Disney would start...
Seth is unaware, and our listeners are unaware of our particular battles with paywalls. And
I don't battle, I succumb.
no, you don't. But we're not. That's another story for another day that'll never be told. But it's like the whole paywall thing is becoming ridiculous. There's like more paywalls coming up. Star Trek should be, like I said in episode 3, free. It's the people's sci-fi. Roddenberry always looked at it that way. Now it's locked behind a paywall.
But let me ask you this. Did you go see the Star Trek movies when they were in the theaters?
Yes.
And you paid?
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect them to be free in the theater.
No. But original series was free. Next Generation was free. Enterprise was free. Deep
Well,
Space
they were
Nine was
supplemented
free.
by commercials.
Yeah.
And they were eventually terminated due to lack of...
Actually, Enterprise, I could not watch it when it came out because I did not have cable.
No.
I had a really hard time watching Voyager because that only was on UPN.
Yeah. And so was at first Enterprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And back in the day, there was no internet to catch that on, so we
Right.
either
Had
received
cable.
UPN over the rabbit ears or did not watch Voyager.
or
Yeah.
had cable.
Well, that only adds to the whole issue is that people are being disenfranchised from what I consider to be the people's sci-fi, which is Star Trek. But it's worse than that because where do you have to go to get to watch the show The Expanse? At first, you had to have Netflix,
Yeah.
and now you have to have Amazon. Where do you have to go to watch Discovery? You have to go behind CBS All Access paywall. There's stuff
Westworld only on HBO.
only on HBO. HBO Go will get you to, yeah. So all of this top-notch sci-fi is locked behind 3 different paywalls.
Yeah.
And now Disney's coming out. And the problem with that is that Disney now owns over 40% of all the franchises that you like. And if they put up a paywall, that might be the paywall that busts down other paywalls, but it may not be. And then you have all these other paywalls you have to get to watch the stuff that you like. So it's kind of, I feel we're in a spot where runaway capitalism is affecting us, but it's going to start affecting them too, because not everyone's going to buy these things.
Well, it's it's not just the money; it's following the breadcrumbs.
Yeah, but that's just it. Crumbs. There's not enough crumbs. The people won't buy all these things, so we're going to lose some good sci-fi because these paywalls are going to be ineffective because people can't pay for them.
But I would also argue that some of the sci-fi that we're seeing that we like the most right now, such as Westworld, The Expanse,
that we like.
But it's high dollar.
Well,
it's high dollar sci-fi.
And others.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at how
Altered Carbon, they're
how-
behind paywalls.
They are. They're all actually what you just named is behind 4 different
Stranger
paywalls.
Things, excellent sci-fi.
Oh, yeah.
But there are too many paywalls, and therefore people aren't going to buy all these paywalls, and therefore some of these are going to go away. They might be excellent sci-fi, but they're going to go away because capitalism has run away with this particular issue.
All you have to do is be patient, and you'll be able to
Wait for consolidation.
for the garage sale paywall.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, no, I agree. But in the while we wait, what are we going to lose?
Well, this is kind of. I think this is kind of the downfall of cable. I mean,
Yeah.
you used to pay for your shows via watching with ads and your $100 whatever a month, the 500 channel subscription that was partially supported by the shopping channels and whatnot, and people are having to find different ways to support them.
There is. I mean, if you're somewhat social, there is a solution that a lot of us have used, which is we let Bill pay for the paywalls,
Yeah.
and then we come over.
And you all come over and watch.
Yeah, drink
Yeah.
his root beer.
That works. Yeah, well, it's Audie's
And
root
Bill's
beer.
address is.
So all we need to do is invite the world into Bill's basement.
So you have to. The
Right.
solution.
We can
The
all
solution
watch
is
sport?
yes. Find a friend
Find
and
a
make him
friend.
pay.
Right.
Yeah.
Talk him into paying.
Social watching. I've got HBO Go. You've got Amazon
Yeah.
Prime.
Right.
You come over to my place for Westworld. I'll come over to your place for The Expanse.
I've got a brand new pair
Oh,
of roller
no,
skates.
see, that's not how
You've got a
Charles-
brand new key.
That's not what Charles is talking about. Charles is talking about finding a friend who has HBO Go, and then you walk over and you Jedi mind trick him. You also need Netflix. That's where Charles is going with this.
Right. Right.
No, that was cool. But,
Well, that
you know,
will improve our social skills. Okay, now I have to have friends.
Yeah, but I mean, the smoke is in the air. It's like all the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, is going to be behind this paywall sooner or later. But this is Disney, so what else is there? It's like all the MCU, all of the Disney princesses. What else has Disney got its fingers into?
But Disney doesn't have a paywall today, do they?
Oh,
They're just-
that's what this article is all
Yeah,
about.
the plan is it's coming.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like
gotcha.
this article is saying that Captain Marvel will never be released on Netflix. It's going to be released behind their paywall. So it's like I think it's coming in 2019. But yeah, it's like what else do they have? They have all kinds of Star Wars. They have Star Wars. All the Star Wars are going to be
Yeah.
behind
Yep.
the paywall. It's like their paywall. That's almost going to be like the mandatory paywall.
Hopefully, they call it something like Captain Paywall.
Captain paywall.
Yes.
So for now, it's an adventure. Now to
It's-
get past
no,
it,
it's evil. It's going to be Dr. Paywall. Dr.
Professor
Paywall.
Paywall.
Professor Paywall.
I'm voting.
$1 billion.
Yes, you can watch the Marvel Universe for $1 trillion. Yes, I like it.
I think I'm going for pirate paywall.
Pirate paywall. Yes, give us your booty, lad.
Yeah, there you go. Pirates of the Caribbean. Another thing they'll have.
Another one that's good. Yes, all your Pirates of the Caribbean.
For anyone who wants to watch the half dozen Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, but if you do, now it's going to be behind that paywall. All of it. Just think of all the Disney stuff that you like, and
Maybe
Behind that-
maybe radio will make a comeback.
Yeah.
It has
There you go.
podcasts. What?
yeah, that's actually
Yeah.
kind of what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's like I did radio. I
So-
think we've already gotten to more people than that FM2 MAV radio show that
Yeah.
we did. So
We
it's
just need
like-
to make up our own
Yeah.
superheroes and
Right.
and,
And have
other
our-
universes, and
Get some special effects machines and make our own
we'll
show.
just
We're
Get a few
halfway
million
there.
dollars in
Well, no,
funding.
Bill found special effects, but they're all fart noises. So it's like, I mean, that's not quality sci-fi.
No.
I don't know. Turning lightsaber, fart. You know, that's just, I don't know. It's, hey, make the ship go faster. Fart, 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 fart. It's like, no. That's not it.
Might make a good cartoon,
It
though.
might make, it'd be funny. Yeah.
For the
one-
first episode.
Yeah, the first episode. And then, this is repetitive.
Yes.
It's like,
But the merchandising rights alone on the fart sound starship would make you billions.
Probably.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The USS IBS is just going to be flying through space. That'll be a hell of a thing.
Turns out you need just a little bit of methane to make the
Just a
dilithium
little bit.
crystals work.
It's like, Captain, the ship is lactose intolerant. Drink some milk. We need to get out of the gravitational
It's
well.
the methane, anti-methane converters.
Yeah.
Gives a whole new meaning to I'm giving her all she's got.
Even it's all she's got, Captain. All right.
Okay, so next,
Oh, the Klingons.
the
will be
Klingons.
changed.
So,
Star Trek.
Nice
listen,
segue there.
Klingons, they changed them a lot in Star Trek Discovery. From Next Gen,
Yes.
Voyager, DS9, the movies, we had a consistent Klingon look. And then they changed them completely for CBS All Access. And the comment was that because everything was going to be in high def, they wanted to give them a new, more high def look. So, okay, season 1, I eventually came to terms with the new Klingon look.
I never did.
But now, according to what we're seeing here, they're going to have another completely new look. Now, I would be okay with another completely new look as long as the completely new look got us towards the next gen look.
Well, here we go. It's like in this little spot from an article by Jamie Lovett at comicbook.com. The creative team behind Star Trek Discovery has repeatedly said that the show's second season will provide many answers to lingering questions about how Star Trek Discovery fits into established Star Trek canon. They offered hints about how the series' very different-looking Klingons may fit in with the Klingons fans have come to know from previous Star Trek shows. So they're going to pull this back into canon. And they've been saying that since day one, and yet they've been just like violating canon like it's the thing to do.
Well, so here's
They're telling us they're going to bring it all back.
Are they? Is it just a look, or are they update? Like, are they giving them more bling?
I don't
Is that
think
what
it's
they're
more
into?
bling. I don't think it's more bling. They got plenty of bling in the current one,
Well, yeah.
right? I don't know how you increase the bling, but here's my thing. When if they're going to bring them more towards the next gen look, then how do you reconcile that with the original series where the Klingons didn't have the big ridge? They looked more like humans.
Well, actually,
they
that
did
was
originally,
done
Deep
in...
Space Nine.
How did they do it in Deep Space Nine?
Well, they kind of explained it a little bit in
Was
Deep
it
Space Nine.
Was it the
The-
human genetic manipulation thing, or
Well, I don't know if they explained it, but they did reference it in the episode where they go back to the Trouble with Tribbles episode.
Hmm?
They go back in time and kind of seamlessly integrate the Deep Space Nine crew, and Worf comes along, and so you've got
Two different versions of the
Jadzia
Klingon.
Dax, and you've got like Worf there, and then the original series Klingon, and they kind of like look at them and look at Worf, and they're like,
and he was kind of like,
those are Klingons, and he's like, we do not talk about it.
right.
They
right.
explained it
No.
on Enterprise.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
They had the creator of Data,
Yeah.
Dr. Soong.
Noonien Singh.
Mm-hmm.
In his younger days, he created augments,
Yeah.
and the Klingons wanted that technology, and that's where
The augmented
they
humans
augmented Klingons.
is why
and they
the
turned them into
Klingons-
humans.
And that was actually grabbed onto by a lot of fan fiction. So it's the Klingons that we're used to seeing in TOS, the original series, are augmented by human DNA. And
Mm-hmm.
the way Klingons look in Next Gen,
They
are
recovered.
are the way Klingons are supposed to look. Now, the way this article is kind of describing
So
the
it's the ones
Klingons
that are
we-
more human that were augmented.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the article describes The article describes that perhaps the differences we see in the Klingons that we have come to know on Discovery are religious in nature. That it's certain prescriptions on how they're supposed to look.
Oh.
Like some sects, some religions have you shave your head. Some require beards.
Hats.
Hats.
Almost universal with
Yeah.
religions. Hats.
Yeah.
I don't know about universal.
Well, human
Unless you're Jedi.
religions.
I don't know.
They have
any,
hoods.
I don't know of any Christian hats.
Yeah, the Pope.
That's one Christian. It's like
Bishops.
Bishops.
No.
yeah.
Now, if I just got a picture in my head of every Christian walking around with a Pope hat on. It's like that would
Well,
be.
no,
That would
I'm
be
talking
very,
about.
It'd be a very
I'm
Some-
talking
colorful world.
about. I'm
Some
talking about
Catholic priests
the
do.
the authorities within the different religions.
Well,
they all
yes.
have hats.
Yes. Yeah, they do.
And a lot of monks wore the hoodie, and some had.
Is a
funky
hoodie
hats.
a hat?
No. Well, whatever.
Well, no. It's
rests on
like
your head.
definitions. It's like if you're
head
really
cover.
liberal about the definition of sandwich, every food item is actually a sandwich. You can make a case for that. So it's like
Would being a tailor be respectable with Klingons?
Being
If
a
you did
tailor.
it, if you did it with honor,
Yes. It was respectable
if-
within. Well, was it within the
Yeah, deeps.
Kardashians because Garrick
yeah.
was a tailor,
Kardashians.
a spy.
Kim or Cole.
Yeah.
Kardashians.
Well, he was also a spy.
not
though.
Kardashians.
So
Kardashians.
I would give up an arm for keeping up with the Kardashians show.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Keeping up with the Kardashians.
And yeah.
But
yeah.
I would assume that a Klingon tailor would have to figure out some way
Chloe pulls
to
out her
kill
bat left.
someone with his tailoring, and then it would be honorable.
Or,
Yeah, well,
the
that's
warrior
the whole
tailor,
Klingon culture has
A warrior
confused
tailor,
me
the
yes.
warrior chef.
in that
means
everything's
it's-
warrior and there's no, like I can't imagine science existing because peer review would always end in death.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, the
That's
warrior
what could
peer
help
review.
us, though, because we have a problem with peer review. Maybe what we need is like peer review deathmatch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The peer review Hunger Games, but
And
it's like,
the-
what about the warrior proctologist? I don't want to. I don't want any of that.
Right.
In the
like-
time before Caliph, right now, they had poets and
All kinds of disciplines.
everything. They had everything. After Caliph, they all went warrior.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't see a problem. with
Not
that per
everybody
se.
could, even in the Klingons, not everybody could be a warrior.
But they could be
Right.
a part of public service, which
Yeah.
could.
Somebody's got to take out the trash.
Somebody's
Yeah.
got it, but you take it out with honor. I don't.
A warrior trash man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good day to do this.
It is
whatever
a
this
good day
is.
to empty.
Yes. Yes.
Well, we don't see a lot of
Separate
Klingon
your
culture
recyclables.
No.
aside from like
The
their
warriors.
starship.
Yeah.
We aren't really exposed to
Yeah.
that. The leaders and the people on their starships. We don't know what the Klingon man in the street does.
No. Well, listen. This right there is a perfect transition to our next article. Picard's coming back, and he's not going to be.
I don't know how
Captain-
perfect that segue is.
Well,
but
I think it's perfect
Yeah.
because
it's better. Than, it's the best one we can hope for. I
because
guess.
Picard's coming back. He's not going to be captain of a starship.
Are you sure?
And so, yeah, because he said he's going to be a totally different role. And
Walmart greeter.
maybe,
I'd watch that show.
maybe.
Yes.
And so we're going to get
Enjoy
to
your
see,
visit to Walmart. Make it so.
hopefully, hopefully a different career within on Earth or whatever Picard happens to do. And this article we're looking at is talking about what could Picard's future look like.
Well, his passion was archaeology,
True.
so
what could he be, an archaeologist? There's some speculation that maybe he could be appointed as an ambassador to Vulcan, so he could be an ambassador. Or
Well, he liked that flute instrument too.
he did like the flute, and
Well, that's a
the
that's a
Resican
side
flute,
effect of his archaeology passion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the Resican flute. So maybe he could join an orchestra.
His family's got a vineyard, I know.
Yes, and he could go back to the vineyard and
Well,
work the vineyard.
the way that the series ended had Q playing games with time
Yes.
and putting Picard in the future. They could follow that future. I don't know where that would go.
I've always liked Q as a character.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Q. I'd like to see a
Return.
whole series of Q. I'd like to see him go from one culture to another, judging them.
Irritating.
Just judging.
But now
And then it
Judging.
never quite working out.
Like
We have
a
a new
Star Trek
Q.
reality show that's just like Q visiting a new culture and judging them.
Judging them, making them pass whatever these tests are.
You know what that
'cause-
reminds me of is the Rick and Morty episode with the giant heads.
Yes.
And they're judging the cultures, and they
Show us your stuff.
show us what you've
Show
got.
us what you've got.
And then
Do
they
it.
pull, and they expect you to come up with a unique original song
Yeah.
that
I'm
represents your
Swifty.
planet.
Or
Getting swifty now.
Or he could
Swifty
make-
with it.
he could make cultures compete against each other and then fire one of them.
So you're talking about Hunger Games on a planetary scale.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Q's going to be bored someday.
Well, that's awful.
He was already
Like,
bored.
I don't.
Yeah, maybe that's what it like. Q
That's-
gets bored and just makes Jean-Luc immortal.
That's
I mean,
that's
like-
not family fun.
Like he said in one
Watching,
episode,
you know, genocide.
everybody's been the dog,
Yeah.
right? He was talking
Yeah.
about that gas station on the side of the road,
Yeah.
that in the Q continuum, and there's a dog in front of the gas station, and everybody's gone there and visited it, and that is the Q, and he something about being the dog. Oh, everybody's been the dog.
Well, who here would like to see Picard, a Picard show that takes up right after Nemesis ends?
I
Now,
would.
well, I mean, now Nemesis ends. Data's gone. Troy and Riker got married, and he's in command of another ship now.
Well, Data's not really gone.
Yeah, he is. It's
No,
like
we
that,
have the-
there's a
simplified version. I guess you could do whatever you want with that.
Yeah.
But it's
Well,
like
he
he's
was
coming
downloaded
along.
with Data's.
Yeah, Data's entire programming.
Well,
Data,
yeah.
but it took a while for connections to start making, and
that's all right. All right. I guess that's less cheesy than a lot of other things. But it's
True.
like, but all
Or
right.
I was thinking, what would be kind of cool is to see him as like an instructor at Starfleet Academy.
Ooh, that would be pretty good.
Picard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would be cool.
Yeah, you young whippersnappers don't know nothing about the life forms that I done run into.
That doesn't sound
was
much like
the-
Jean-Luc.
It
No.
doesn't. It doesn't. But see, things change.
He could
They
be
do,
like,
things
I
change, they
envision
do.
him almost like that gardener Bixby. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Was
Get
that his
off
name?
my lawn.
I don't know if that was. I don't know if that was his
you
name.
kids.
No, I think that would be
It-
pretty
no,
Bixby
good.
or
Bo-
Bigsby?
it was-
Bigsby.
hold on, no, it was Boothby.
Boothby.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
was saying Bixby because it's on Linda's phone, her new Android
Yep.
phone, and it drives her
Yep,
crazy.
it was Boothby.
Yeah,
It's like, I love
Boothby.
how you both Boothby. It's like, yes, that's it.
Yeah, sudden realization. Yeah, so I think that would be cool seeing him doing Starfleet Academy, but it could be interesting to see him as an ambassador to
Jean-Luc
Vulcan.
Picard.
He would make a very good
Starfleet
ambassador,
gardener.
but I don't think ambassador to Vulcan would be a good,
Good show.
very dramatic show
Yeah.
because the Vulcans
They're bored.
are almost like Picard. They're very laid back and measured in their responses, and it would be better
Well,
to
I
have
mean, no.
Picard as an ambassador to a race that's just
there's
violent.
If there's one thing that Enterprise, the show, gave to us is a better understanding of daily life on Vulcan. Because there are a lot of episodes, and they are a little bit more rambunctious than they like to let the galaxy think they are. So I think there's room for stuff there, and he has Sarek's memories.
So you mean the Vulcan is sending us their best people, whereas
No, I think he should be teaching courses at a college.
yeah.
And then you have the students, you hear, so like that's, like the Iliad's ever going to serve us well. Why are we studying this?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there was this
that would be
one
fun.
time
There was-
where I had to do nothing but talk in ancient Earth references to make peace. So
yes. Yes.
I'm sorry, I've just got
Darmok and Jihad at Talagra.
yeah,
Shaka when the walls fell. It's like it's all there
this
somewhere.
good work.
Or Dr. Moriarty comes back.
Well,
I'd like
all
to
right.
see him and Picard go at it for a while.
Yeah.
All right. If someone actually was stupid enough to save that program, because it was like,
Well, they did save it.
well, why?
Well-
He almost, that could have ended very badly.
Or did it get destroyed when Enterprise D was destroyed?
I would think yes, but of course, there's always ways to, they did take the Enterprise D
They
apart,
weren't,
so they
no,
took
they
the
weren't going to
computer
destroy.
systems.
They're not supposed to destroy life forms.
No.
Well, but is the computer a life form?
I think Data would argue yes.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, based on the fact that it made extrapolations and answered questions, yeah, I would say that.
Yeah. No, if you're Captain Kirk, it might not be a life form, but if you were Picard, it is.
Well,
Yeah.
if the computer, since Moriarty was a computer program, the computer is capable of having sentience because it made Moriarty.
Right.
And it did. It made Moriarty.
Yeah.
So if that innate capacity, whether or not there's like a lot of system initiatives that keep the computer from doing that all the time, that capacity is within the
Its
Enterprise D
capability.
computer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So because it did it,
Right.
and that's
But
there's no
only
other way
on
to
the
explain it.
holodeck.
No, well, they figured out there was a thing. I can't remember what the thing was that allowed Moriarty to leave the holodeck, but
Oh,
It was an
It did.
illusion they
It was-
created.
yeah.
He's in a.
Oh, yeah.
they
memory.
just beamed him into another holodeck
Yeah.
and made it look like
Okay.
he was beaming off the holodeck.
yet he took control of the computer, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he
That
gave
was
it
bad.
back, and then eventually they just locked him into a
You're right.
little
It-
box that had a computer simulation of the entire universe, and he was just sailing off and not realizing
He's
that he
on the
was
Yeah.
in
And he
a,
was
Crap.
never heard
Yeah.
from again.
which sort of makes me want to go, computer, exit.
Yeah.
Okay, we must be really real then.
That's
Well,
just
in
it.
post,
It's
you just need to.
Have the art show
the
up.
arch will
like,
show up
do
behind
they
you.
do they owe Moriarty a future? I mean, as like would turning it off, would saying exit be terminating a sentient life form? Maybe, but it's like
Yeah.
these are the ethical issues we must ask. But it's like from that experiment alone, they should remove all the holodecks from every Starfleet ship because there's the
Potential.
potential for absolute destruction is right there.
I think it would make a great series if they did a series on Moriarty and that woman, I can't remember what her name was, that was with him, because they went off in the end to go explore the digital, pseudo universe, not knowing that they were trapped in a simulation.
Was she his Dr. Watt? No.
She was his.
It wouldn't
Yeah,
be
I
his
don't
Dr.
remember.
Watson because he wasn't Sherlock Holmes.
Well, yeah, and the thing is that what was I think interesting was that, originally he had been designed as an evil character.
Yeah.
But when the computer gave him all that knowledge and stuff, he exceeded the sum of his
Well,
writing, right?
evil-
And he was not evil after that. He wanted to explore the universe and
But
be
evil is socially constructed, and it's like, look, I watch movies, and it's like, did anyone see the first Kingsman?
Oh yeah.
All right. What about the character Samuel L. Jackson played? Was he evil? Because I actually agreed with him. I thought he should have won, because it's like literally there's too many people on the planet, and about 3/4 of them have to die. If they don't die that way, they will die in a much uglier way that will drag civilization down with it. So I agree with Samuel Jackson.
Of course, you're evil too.
Does that make me evil? To actually understand that the perpetuation of the human race requires this, that humans breed like viruses.
Yeah.
It's like he's right. He was absolutely right. Yet he's portrayed as evil because wholesale destruction is not really one of our cultural values.
Hey.
But the honesty of the truth of the matter is, a lot of the characters these days, like Ultron was right in what was that, Avengers 3 and Avengers 2?
Avengers 2.
Yeah, he was right. The herd needs to be thinned and
Well,
controlled.
I don't think he was really going for thinning of the herd so much as elimination of the herd at the end there.
In the end, because the Avengers pissed him off, and he was insane. But his beginning goal is like, okay, go Ultron. It's like just because they push the label evil on you doesn't necessarily mean that there's not something that should be examined further in their actions. And Moriarty was not evil in and of himself. He had some ideas that conflicted with the society of his time. And that's kind of actually how they portray him in the books, as someone who wants to commit acts that go against the grain, but he has his own motivations, and his own motivations might not be bad.
Being in charge of a criminal network.
Yeah.
I think he's...
Well, to get anything done, you have to have minions.
you have to-
You do. You have to have minions.
Couple minions with sword legs, that doesn't make you evil. Just
Well-
makes you an equal opportunity employer.
And sometimes you have to do things you don't like. That's the whole history of politics. Is that, I mean, I think almost all politicians start off being good, but then they have to keep making compromises to get more power. And by the time they get the power that they have to change the system, they've been corrupted to the point where they're unwilling to do so. So it's more of a reflection of how the world really works. I mean, good and evil are black and white and socially constructed, and there is no such thing as absolute good or absolute evil.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that Moriarty said regarding his evil or goodness. He said, you or someone asked your computer to program a nefarious fictional character from the 19th century in London, and that is how I arrived. But I am no longer that creation. I am no longer that character. I have changed. I am alive. I am aware of my own consciousness.
And the computer made that so.
Right.
So it's in there. That innate ability to have sentience is in the computer.
And then, so then the way it ended up, let's see, Moriarty and the Countess Bartholomew, that was the woman's name. They stood between activated pattern enhancers and beamed off the holodeck. After the transport, they met Commander Riker, and Moriarty told him that he would only return the command codes for the Enterprise when he and the Countess were off the Enterprise, and he demanded a shuttle. Riker reluctantly agreed. Moriarty entered the shuttle together with his beloved Countess, and Riker suggested they head for Melis 2, as the range of the shuttle was not unlimited. When the shuttle departed the Enterprise shuttle bay, Moriarty released the command codes to the Enterprise main computer. When the Countess asked him if one day they would return to Earth, he assured her they would. But, unknown to Moriarty, Data and Picard had created a program within the program, allowing Moriarty to believe he had departed the holodeck despite actually remaining within it. Picard and Data then ended the program the moment the command lockouts were removed, and left the holodeck a few minutes later. Moriarty and the Countess Regina Bartholomew would spend the rest of their lives inside
Regina?
a memory module, unaware of their situation, for as far as they were concerned, they had left the Enterprise to live their lives in the real world.
So they just got shut off.
No, they're still in the...
Well,
He ended the program, but they
Yeah.
were in that memory module thing, which had power. So they were still living their lives, believing that they had escaped the
And are you
Enterprise.
sure that wasn't Regina rather than Regina?
It could have been either.
I've never heard of
Regina.
anyone named Regina.
It says Regina. Regina.
Yeah.
Regina,
Okay.
Regina.
Regina. Yeah. Whatever
Works
you
either
need
way.
to. Whatever you need to. Rhyme.
One is her name, the
Yeah.
other is not.
One is yes.
Right?
And you know what? That is true. And our listeners can decide
Yes.
which
Or
one
will
is the
correct
name.
us in the comments.
Right. Is
Yes.
it Data or is it Data? One is his name, the other is not.
Tomato, tomato.
Right.
That's all good.
Okay.
Potato.
Well,
That's all good. But it's
Yeah.
still evil. It's like,
what's evil?
well, no. All right. Based on that alone,
Uh-huh.
you are a higher up in Starfleet Command. Picard comes back, reports what happened.
Yeah.
Should you remove all holodecks from all the ships?
No.
Why?
Why would you?
Because there's the potential for them to be hijacked by Moriarty and any other evil. All they did was say we want someone nefarious from the 18th century.
Capable
Capable-
of defeating Data.
Yes.
Yes, and they did.
So
And
you
it-
just ban that. That becomes a
but-
banned command phrase.
What-
Yeah, you're not allowed to use that phrase
Yeah,
again.
this is something for a sysadmin, I think.
Right.
But what other commands can end up with the same level of?
None. You ban them all.
Well, how do you know what to command?
Because
To
you tell the
ban.
computer to create a sysadmin capable of defeating data. And then you ask that sysadmin, what commands would you use to defeat data on the holodeck, and you ban those commands.
That is literally the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. That's yes. Computer. Create a program capable of destroying us and have it tell us how not to destroy us.
Yes, yes.
And you're sitting, he's smiling. I hope you're getting that on the camera. He's like, he thinks he won. It's really neat.
Because
But you know,
It
but if you
is.
think about it, there probably is some tech guy, because I
Yeah.
think this would be fun, who has to sit there and think about ways to stop people from creating stuff that'll destroy them.
Yeah, that's right.
But what if you get the tech guy from like Jurassic Park who just doesn't think he's getting paid enough? I'm going to put this in there with every program. They're all going to have Moriartys popping up at random times. And it's like,
Well, this is the problem with having one sysadmin for an entire park.
and this brings us to the evil of IT people.
Now, wait a minute.
How do you regulate the integrity of IT people? And it's
IT
like, 'cause
people are inherently good.
the
You trust
IT
us
pe-
implicitly.
Yes.
No, this is like you're playing Jedi mind tricks over here. It's like, yes, IT good, IT good. But no, it's like IT bad in Jurassic Park, IT bad in Star Trek, where the IT guy's disgruntled and it's like, all right, they're all gonna get Moriarty'd. And I just made a whole new verb.
disgruntled IT in Starfleet
I just invented a
They
whole
would
new
be
verb,
weeded
and
out.
you didn't applaud me. I should
in the whole academy process.
to Moriarty someone.
You've disgruntled engineers.
Yeah,
Yeah, but not in
Scotty,
Starfleet.
I mean, Scotty's kind of,
He's not disgruntled.
no,
he's a little.
He's gruntled. He's
no,
grumpy.
he's just. It's,
He's-
I
he's
mean, a
grumpy.
sign of his
He's grumpy.
disgruntlement is his chronic drinking problem. But yeah,
He's grumpy.
No, he just does his best work when he's had a couple hits.
Yeah.
yeah, and he does. He's not discriminatory. He's like, what are you drinking? It's green.
Right.
I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. But no, I mean, all right, we're right down to it. Have we consigned ourselves to be doomed by the fact that 99% of the population has absolutely no idea how to run the tech they depend on?
Probably. And the fact that that tech is eventually going to become intelligent. And
Well,
probably
that's bad.
not only more intelligent than us, but much faster thinkers than us.
I feel doomed.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it's like, also, what is the number one thing we emphasize in our technology is efficiency. And what's the least efficient thing in any human system?
The human.
Humans. So we've actually designed them to have to destroy us. They literally have to destroy us because we have demanded that they make the systems more efficient.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, they don't have to destroy us. They could just exclude us from the systems, still feed us just as pets.
Well, even, and otherwise,
We
also,
could all be the dog.
we emphasize having safety. Keep people safe. Keep people from harm. The best way to keep them from harm is to like wrap them in bubble wrap, seal them in concrete, and put them 500 miles below the earth. And it's just keep them there. It's like
Sounds
what
nice
we
and
consider
warm.
safe.
Yeah, it'd be kind of warm.
Or
Well,
give them some
all right.
video games to play.
But if you've got the
800
bubble
feet.
wrap, you've got bubble wrap for like eternity. Just-
Yeah.
Nobody else thinks that sounds good? Just
Well,
popping bubble
the
wrap?
pops would stop popping after a while, wouldn't
Well, they'd have to replace it to keep you safe.
Right.
they? Well, after the first few thousand of them go insane from being trapped in a claustrophobic hell,
Well, see,
they'd
then
probably
that,
figure out ways to.
that wouldn't
keep
work
humans
because that's
entertained.
not keeping us safe if we go insane.
Yes,
Okay.
so they'd have to modify the system. But anyway,
And put us in holodecks where eventually we remake Moriarty and
Right.
Yeah.
destroy the whole system.
except there's no IT guys because the computers know how to handle dangerous threats. See, we have to trust crazy bastards like Bill to keep us. No, look at that smile. I wish. Can you zoom this when you produce this? Because I want people to see that smile. That's the smile of death. That is the smile of doom. This Bill's gonna watch all the cities burn. It's like yes, this is yes, yes.
No.
You can't stop smiling.
so there are
you
white-
can't stop smiling.
White.
This is all
White
coming
hat-
together. We now have the
white hat
professor
IT
that
guys.
believes evil is a social construct
Yes.
versus the IT guy
Right.
Who builds the social construct, evil construct.
who
Right.
Yes. If your AI is your baby, can you really find it to be evil? If you,
Well, look at Dr. Daystrom
yes,
and the M5.
yes.
Yep.
Right? it was his baby, his child. He created it. He couldn't believe that it was evil.
The M5 is a computer, what is it, multitronic system computer from an episode in Star Trek.
The original
Original,
series.
yes.
The computer was designed to replace the crew of starships. And the Enterprise was a test model. And it came out that it was flawed because they used human engrams from Daystrom, who was neurotic.
flawed himself.
Yeah. But think about it. How would it have worked if they used engrams from Kirk?
Oh God, no.
Oh,
No, why not?
no.
It wouldn't have obeyed any orders, but it would have. It wouldn't have.
Well,
you know.
if they'd have used the engrams from McCoy, the resulting torrential flood of illogic would have been most amusing.
Yes.
And profanity.
Yes.
And had they used Scotty, the ship would have learned to drink somehow. I don't know how.
That's
But-
another show I'd watch.
There's another show.
The warp engines would have been transformed into brew making.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the drunk starship. It's like, where's it going? No one knows. It's like we can't. We don't know where it doesn't know where it's going. So yeah, just drunkenly shows up and saves the day every week. That'd be neat. Somehow
Or we're
the
going in
show's
a
got
big
a
circle, going nowhere mighty fast.
Yeah, but somehow it ends up right in the right place. Somehow,
2 hours early.
yep, Scotty Bot's drunken ship just saves the day every week.
Right.
That would be. I would like that show. I would, because I think it would be very crude, and I like that. It's like a little saucy, a little salty. It'd be a neat thing. I do, but now you're still smiling that I'm going to destroy the world kind of thing.
Save.
Some
going
people
to save-
just want to see the world burn, and that's the smile on your face.
I'm out
man.
to save the world.
All right.
For your own amusement.
Yeah. Yeah. all right. Save the world, but I don't see any regrets with possibly a little Hunger Gamey kind of activity.
That would be horrible.
And you're smiling. You're still smiling.
That would be
I want a
terrible.
close up of that smile. Yeah. That's awful. That's so bad. No, we can't do that.
Of course not.
No. Not even a little bit.
No.
Maybe just a little bit? Maybe. Yeah. All right.
There's room for experimentation.
That's awesome. That is. I like it. I do.
Now, next question is, what are you most looking forward to in shows that are coming up?
Define looking forward to.
Well, I mean, new series that are coming out.
The ones that are actually coming out?
Yeah,
Or the ones that might come out one day, or what?
the ones that are actually coming out. I mean, we're looking forward to season 3 of Stranger Things, which should be
Yeah.
coming out this fall.
All
right?
what I know about Stranger Things is I didn't know about it till after season 2 was ended. I watched the first episode, and 24 hours later, I'd watched all the episodes because it was so good.
Right.
I couldn't put it down. It was really, really good. So I'm not sure, having done that, where they're going to go. But honestly, I didn't know where they were going to go with season 2.
Right.
So, and that's the thing. It's like kind of like Westworld. I didn't know how they were going to do season 2 after season 1,
Right.
but they did it.
And how are they going to do
And
season 3?
Because they're going to have to. They keep having to reinvent their game because they keep destroying the playing field that they did before. So I'm eager to see where they're going to go with this because it looks like they're going to enter the real world.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like Stranger Things. The kids are getting older. They've.
The creature's getting bigger.
Well, no, they keep defeating the creature, but I guess there's more creatures all
Yeah.
the time. They're going to have to come up with something new.
Well, the last creature we saw was like on the horizon, and it was just like
Yeah.
enormous.
And they beat it. So they're going to have to beat it again or beat something else. But that's cool. I like that. I like the fact that they've taken the playing field and basically pretty much trashed it so that they have to come up with an entirely new concept, and that, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
It keeps things from being
Let me throw-
repetitive.
Like on Westworld, I'm enjoying the part that if you look up the vocabulary they use, whatnot, you've taken a consciousness studies course. I mean, it's pretty close to what they use. Wild theories, but they're wild theories that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's a lot of fun. I'd like to see sci-fi go that way.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the Altered Carbon the
Season
next
2.
Season 2.
Yeah. See, and I still haven't seen that yet. So
See, but like we were talking about last show, Altered Carbon has pretty much fired the entire cast. They're going to have a new one.
No, it's great.
Yeah, and it shakes things up. It's like, how many seasons were there of Next Generation?
7.
Yeah, and it just got tiresome. It was just the same people, and you knew that nothing was going to ever happen to them.
Well,
and
look
it's
at
like the same stuff all the time.
and look at the shakeup in Doctor Who with the female Doctor.
Well,
That'll create a whole new story arcs and
Yeah, and all new kinds of misogyny, and yeah, it's going to be all kinds of hate's going to come out of that one.
not within the show.
Oh,
You're talking about-
not within the show, but from the fans.
Oh, who cares?
Yeah.
You can't.
I'm going to
care.
enjoy the show.
I will
Oh, yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I will enjoy it. I will like it, and the sad
I think
part
it's
is-
about
all of these,
time.
but even the Expanse. See, I'm looking forward to the sci-fi where they are attempting to hold true to rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Expanse, like a big part of the Expanse, is they've invented this acceleration.
Yeah, the Epstein drive.
The Epstein drive.
So you like continuity? is
Yeah, I
what
do.
you're
But
saying.
I was watching some lecture on YouTube, and it was something like if you accelerated at 1G, like in 40 years, you'd reach the end of the universe that we know about. It was something to that. So there's people have been postulating these theory, and they're when they take them, and yeah, we don't have an Epstein drive, but
Right.
to me that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's fun to think about.
I was actually reading something the other day about that, and they said that somebody had posed a question: if you could travel at the speed of light, could you travel from one end of the observable universe to the other?
Just across our galaxy, it'd take 200 years.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, though. Is like as you approach the speed of light, time slows down.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's
So,
like-
so the 40-year thing was because like it'd be you. So you could get to wherever that next star system in your lifetime.
Yeah.
Now, would it be the same star? So you've left everybody else is a billion years dead.
Right. Right.
But
right.
you've made it.
Right. Well,
That's
and
fun.
the article that I read, there was a physicist that responded, and he said, even if you could travel at the speed of light, and you've got 96 billion years worth of travel at the speed of light to get to the other side, you would never get there because the expansion of the universe is increasing due to dark energy,
Yeah.
and that eventually that far part of the universe, 96 billion light years away, is going to be receding from you faster than the speed of light because space-time itself can do that. It can expand faster than the speed of light. But those of us within the universe cannot travel faster than the speed of light. So there will increasingly be areas of the universe that we will never get to. And as the universe ages, that
Well, it's expanding.
reachable bubble contracts because the universe, there are areas that we can see now that are going to be expanding faster than the speed of light,
Well, yeah,
and eventually will wink out.
The big rip is
Yeah.
it's like due to dark energy, the expansion of the universe is accelerating, and actually I have an article that I'll bring next week.
All right.
That talks about like solutions because you're going to be isolated from resources. Like
Right.
stars are going to die. What are you going to do? You're going to be stuck with the local hydrogen to make your own stars, and it's like this is a very real thing that's about to happen. Well, about to over the next 100 billion years, but
Yeah.
Any day now.
any
Yeah.
day.
It's
now.
happening as we speak.
It is. It's just it's not really noticeable,
Right.
but it's like
It won't affect
us.
our
Yeah.
galaxy
Our race.
and the galaxies in our local cluster that are gravitationally bound together for quite some time.
Yeah.
But other galaxies beyond that will begin winking out, and eventually, which kind of brings up kind of another interesting side note, is that eventually, when you look up at the night sky, you will only see our galaxy and Andromeda and whatever's in our local group.
Yeah.
You won't be able to see out there and see,
Won't
13 billion years back in time because they won't be there. So
won't
if
really
you were
affect how our sky looks because of the local stars. But it's
right,
like-
but if you were an astronomer and you were, say, 5 billion years from now or 10 billion years from now, assuming that the Earth was still here, and let's say our culture got destroyed for some reason, nuclear war or whatever,
Whatever reason.
and some new species, maybe lizards, all right, evolve consciousness and they become the dominant life form on the planet. And their astronomers look up at the night sky, they're not going to see near what we can see.
Yeah.
And it's possible that they would not have enough evidence out there to be able to piece together what we know about the
Their
universe.
cosmology would be wildly different based
Wildly
upon
different.
observable evidence. And it's like, it's like, it would be, there's just a couple galaxies out there.
Right.
And it's like, we don't know.
And
And it's
you-
like, how do you extrapolate a Big Bang from such limited evidence?
Right.
I don't know what the acceleration of the expansion of the universe would do to the cosmic microwave background. And that's how we really understand the Big Bang, is from the residual heat
Right.
left over from that huge explosion. That might still be there, but then they're going to come up with, even if it is, and they do the calculations and come up with that, they're going to come up with a universe that should have a lot more stuff in it. And it's like, where's all the stuff?
Right. Right.
So where is it? Where'd it go?
Yeah.
And they won't know how to find it.
And the other thing is that, you know, when we look up in the night sky, no matter what direction we look at, there seems to be a uniform distribution of matter. But 10 billion years from now, that may not be the case. You have a local group here, and it's like, why do we have a local group here, but nothing beyond
I
it?
think there'll be more universal distribution of matter because there'll be nothing but
Yeah.
our local
Yeah.
group. And it's like, so
But that would be weird, because if there was this big bang, why is this local group all just stuck here, and where is everything else that might have come from such a bang? And yeah, I think it's kind of sad.
well, I mean, because it's through the expansion that we postulate dark energy and dark matter to begin with, and without knowing of the other things, they might not come up with the expansion of the universe, the accelerated expansion, and they might never figure out why.
Right.
So yeah, bad karma.
Yeah.
But
That's just a little before we have a few gravity waves, and then the laws of physics change altogether.
Yeah.
We explode and die.
Yeah, well, there's some discussion
no
about
escape.
a possible state change in the universe that could be coming. I mean, there's been several state changes since the Big Bang, and there could be a state change that could eradicate everything.
Explain state change.
I will have to look it up.
All of a
You shouldn't
sudden,
bring up things you don't know.
Well,
all
I
of a
know.
sudden, the
I
strong-
just don't know how to
the strong
explain
and the
it
weak-
without making a mistake.
yeah, the strong and the weak forces don't work the way they do because there's been a little more distance between
Well,
quantum particles.
at one point there was something called expansion, and it was pretty soon after the Big Bang. It's like the speed of light was violated a great deal. It's like everything expanded out at many times the speed of light, possibly fueled by the antimatter destruction of most matter. When the universe was created, for every 10 million particles of antimatter, there was 10,000,001 particles of matter. All of that had annihilated. And all the matter we see now is the remains of that one. 1 in 10 million particle that did not annihilate, because there just was a slightly, ever so slightly more matter than antimatter. And all that energy might have fueled the expansion of the universe. But these are special conditions that might not come back. I'm not sure how you introduce that much more antimatter into the system in a closed universe.
So here I found a little article on this. So it says the violent process that can cause something this to happen is called a phase transition. And it's very similar to what happens when, for example, water turns to steam or a magnet heats up and loses its magnetization. And so this particular article is talking, it says, maybe it happens tomorrow, maybe in 1 billion years. Physicists have long predicted that the universe may one day collapse and that everything in it will be compressed to a small, hard ball.
Yeah.
New calculations from physicists at the University of Southern Denmark now confirm this prediction, and they also conclude that the risk of collapse is even greater than previously thought. Sooner or later, a radical shift in the forces of the universe will cause every particle in it to become extremely heavy. Everything, every grain of sand on Earth, every planet in the solar system, and every galaxy will become millions of billions of times heavier than it is now.
Well, that'll stop
from
runaway
this phase
expansion.
transition. Yeah. And this will have disastrous consequences, obviously.
Well, for fragile life forms like us, yeah.
The new weight will squeeze all material into a small, super hot, and super heavy ball, and the universe as we know it
So
will
kind
cease
of
to exist.
Everything will turn into neutronium.
Which means you'll finally get your wish. All paywalls will be gone.
This got really dark.
It did.
Spoken
It did.
like a true IT guy. Yeah. It's like,
Yes.
It's like
Right.
any negative thing will go away. Any
That's right.
positive thing will go away.
True.
It's like, yep. And to our listeners, no more podcast.
No more podcasts,
No more
which
us.
could be positive or negative, depending upon whether you like the show or hate it.
And literally, yeah, the total Heisenberg uncertainty principle of what's going on is like happen anytime, any second. So
Any second.
I wouldn't think about that
No.
Yeah.
because there's no point really. In
Right.
There's
and
nothing you
thing-
could do about it.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think at this point, before that phase transition happens and we all gain billions of pounds,
He wants to
it's
end the
probably
show.
time
He
to
wants
end our
to end
show.
the show.
Yes. It's sad but true. We've reached we've actually gone a bit beyond our hour mark.
You
so,
suck, Bill.
yeah.
All right.
So anyway, thank you all for watching another episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. We'll look forward to seeing you back here next time when we'll have more wild
More
speculations
wacky
and
goodness.
predictions.
Yeah.
And we'll see you then. I'm Bill.
I'm John.
I'm Charles.
Yeah, I'm Audie.
And I'm Seth.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. For more information and past episodes, please visit our website at galacticdriftwood.space. And now, please deactivate your cranial downlinks, collect your towels, and be sure to watch your step as you exit the gravity well.